The Genesis Communications Radio Network proudly presents The Alex Jones Show, because there's a war on for your mind.
Well, we got both the filmmakers here with us today, but one's going to be in studio, Brian Kraft, who I met a year or so ago when they were shooting the film. And these guys have got some big movie credits to their names. And the website is thefallofamerica.net. And if we're going to save America, we've got to realize it's already fallen to the hands of the globalists. And it is a 10-hour documentary film. Naomi Wolf, Alex Jones, Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, David Icke, the list goes on and on. This is an insane 8-disc DVD box set. The Fall of America and the Western World, a survival guide, 8-disc DVD box set. And I'm really pleased to be promoting this because I'm obviously in it, but I've watched it. I mean, you talk about the master PhD and what's going on. This is the film, and it's in sections, so somebody can watch an hour or two a night, and in a week and a half, it's like a mini-series. They will have it all down. How to protect you and your family, your loved ones from financial Armageddon, government tyranny, and the destruction of the middle class and the end of freedom. This came out a year ago, but it's even more pertinent today. And coming up, we're going to play the trailer of the Fall of America and the Western World. We're also simulcasting at pacman.pt.vu. Gerald Celente is joining us in the next hour for 30 minutes into the hour after that, so for an hour and a half to break down all the big world events and to take your phone calls. But Brian Kraft, why don't you, I know you don't like to brag about yourself, but and Mr. Petula, some of the big movies you guys have been involved producing, and why you decided to make a documentary.
Well, Alex, our other partner who's not here is Robert Denazzi, who you met as well. And he produced the film Flight Plan with Jodie Foster that was out in the theaters. Jimmy's produced a movie called Reversal, which was a father and son wrestling story. And I've produced a bunch of documentaries. Actually, Alex, this film was actually an accident. When we set out to do this 3 years ago with our own money, totally independently financed, we were just going to make a movie about what it would be like to live in America in a post-9/11 world. Sort of an 80-minute thing. So what we did was we started traveling the country, and we met a bunch of notable economists, writers, journalists, filmmakers, politicians, bureaucrats, and we started interviewing them. We started talking to them about what it would be like to live in a post-9/11 America. And one word kept coming up, and one phrase kept coming up over and over again in our transcripts as we're interviewing people, the word collapse. And I would hear things like from eminent people, Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, the father of Reaganomics, Doug Casey, an eminent economist. You realize America's falling, Brian. We're already in yeah, mathematically, with fractional reserve banking, it's designed to do this. Right. And it's like a heroin addict. You're going to end up dying from it if you stay on it. Right. And we're now to the point of, in a coma. Exactly. And but I was surprised. So the film became the film about the collapse, the fall of Western civilization, because that's what you got. You were trying to make another film, but all these eminent people were telling you, no, this is what's going on. Correct. We were trying to make an 80-minute film, and we looked at each other halfway through this and said, guys, we have a 10-hour series, home study course, survival guide in video form, DVD form, about the fall of America, which is not coming. This is what was made clear to me by these eminent people. It's not coming tomorrow, next year, or 2 years. We're in it now. And one of the eminent guests that I was talking to, Doug Casey, said, in 1929, in the Great Depression, people thought it was over. They thought it was over. That's where we are in 2010 today. Inning 2, he said, of a 9-inning catastrophe, to use a baseball analogy. So if we're in inning 2, I said, well, what's inning 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 going to look like? And he said, the quality of life in America is going to decrease significantly. And I said, well, what does that mean? And by the way, when you were shooting this a year and a half ago, and I'm sorry to interrupt, sure, this wasn't really on the news. Now we have the head of the World Bank, the head of the IMF, telling us, it's over. Headline, Washington Post, the good times are over. But they're telling us this is a good thing. This is what we deserve, while the bankers get record bonuses. Right. He responded. Go ahead. Well, when Alan Greenspan, who recently said that this is a credit tsunami, When comptroller David Walker says it's 25 times bigger than what we thought, meaning the recession in '08. When Paul Volcker says, hold on to your hats, this is these are the bureaucrats in part that started this, right? As part of the Keynes.
But now they're going to be our saviors.
Right. So when they're saying that, when Alan Greenspan is agreeing with Alex Jones, we've got a problem. When Alan Greenspan is agreeing with Doug Casey and Dr. Paul Craig Roberts and David Icke, it's time for the people to listen. And so the point of this film really is to help people protect themselves. That's why I'm here. And I want to go around the country and talk to schools and churches and rabbis and people in power, or who have, who have access to the community, to tell people, guys, we're not in recovery. We're not in a good place right now. We're entering into the greater depression. And that's why I'm here.
Well, I just look at the headlines today. Here's one. Risks to global economy have risen significantly. Top IMF official warns. Here is another one. Wall Street Journal. Gold hits record. Central banks in focus. Here's another one. The phantom recovery. Another headline here out of the Wall Street Journal. Investment banker, it's going to get nasty. Buy land, barbed wire, and guns. And then here's the Wall Street Journal. That was MSNBC. Tax hikes and the 2012 economic collapse. Look, they knew this was going to happen because they designed it. I mean, we were saying this 10 years ago. We knew derivatives were thousands of times all the real money in the world. And we're building towards that, towards being hundreds of thousands of times potentially. And that if we don't say no to the people that got rid of the Glass-Steagall Act in '99, that's when we really knew this was going to happen. It was a surety. I had many economists on in 99, 2000 that said in the next decade this will happen. And so now we're here, and the very crooks that engineered this are now posing as our saviors. If we don't expose them, they're going to get away with the next phase, and this is going to be a 100-inning depression. That's right. Because it's designed to be where they bankrupt us by design to make us be controlled by their system. And that's why the film, The Fall of America, is so important. You need to go to thefallofamerica.net, folks, and get this film and show it to everyone you know. Show it at your church, over 4 or 5 weeks. Show it, at the local library, whatever, so people understand what's happening.
And I want to say one thing, Alex. Absolutely, it's about exposing them. But also, it's about protecting ourselves while we expose them. Another analogy I like is the ship is sinking, but none of us have prepared our lifeboats. If you've prepared your lifeboats, good for you. But there's literally 150 things in this 10-part series that people need to do now so that when this happens, the Greater Depression, we are okay, because we need...
Or what Celente calls it, the greatest depression.
The greatest depression. You've got to do things. It's not just financial things, but that's a big part of this. It's not just gold and silver, but that's a big part of it. It's a lot of other things as well.
Getting to know your neighbors, it's everything. Right. Listen, I was out in Wimberley a month ago for a birthday party, and my son was going to somebody else's birthday party, and it was a camp out off somebody's property there on a river by their house, and it was doctors and lawyers. It was well-to-do people. And I said, why are you all here in Wimberley? Oh, because we figured out 5-10 years ago there was going to be a total world government collapse. And most of them didn't even know who I was. Some did. They had already separately figured all of this out. Mm. And the thing is, it's incredible. I've talked to people that are a well-known American billionaire and others who left years ago, and they knew this was all coming. So this is common sense because the elite is engineering it, and so any of the intelligent people out there who've actually researched know it's coming. The reason I say identifying the enemy is the biggest solution, along with all these other solutions that are in the film, is because if they maintain their power and use this crisis to expand their power and use the implosion to bring in their police state, we have no hope. So as Ron Paul has said, we've got to use the crisis they've created to bring them out of power.
That's right. We have a window, and it's not a long window. There's no delaying this. This isn't 2002 anymore. This is 2010, and this is happening. And there's literally 150 things you need to be doing right now to do, like you say, 2 things: protecting you and your family, and at the same time exposing these people. Because when these guys fall, when we implode, we're going to need to rebuild this thing, right? And we're going to need the best and the brightest to do so. So you're not doing anyone any good. You're not doing anyone any good by pretending that this illusion, this Keynesian economic model is just going to go on forever. It's not. Like you said, it will fail. Unfortunately, it's going to fail in our lifetimes and probably in the next few years.
And the more they prop it up, when it does fail, the worse it's going to be.
That's right. That's exactly right. Printing more money and borrowing more money is not the solution to this problem.
Unless you're the mega banking class that creates the fiat currency and wealth, who gets total power out of it.
Absolutely.
It's great for them. At the end of the day, we're all paupers. Everything's fried. We're now a third world nation, but they are in full control with a huge paramilitary police force to dominate us. And that's the game plan. I mean, this is it. And world government is about this being a planetary takeover. I mean, they openly say that in their own writings. And that's why it's so important people get the fall of America and the Western world. And again, people can go to the website. What are some other ways they can order it?
They can also order it by calling 1-800-655-1577. That's 1-800-655-1577.